Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the Points of Articulation. My name's Dave and if you're new to the channel, welcome everybody. Now believe it or not everybody, today is a very special video. This marks my 500th video and my mind is exploding. Once I saw it on my videos list on YouTube, I couldn't believe I finally reached 500 videos. Sure, some of my videos were duds, some were hits. You know, mostly I do this channel by myself. I film, I edit, do the thumbnails, photograph, all that stuff. And it's a lot of work. So for me to reach this plateau, this milestone, it's a little emotional. And I'm very proud of how far this channel came. I'm proud of all my subscribers for supporting me. And I just want to take a moment and thank, first of all, my girlfriend, Erin, Doug, Tyler, and all the people that support me. But most of all, especially for this review, I want to thank my father, who has been very supportive of my YouTube channel. And really, as I brace myself to become a teacher and get finally a real job, and I'm taking all these tests, he is supporting me non-stop, as well as my mother. And my father gifted me the Nadiri Starhawk to review on this channel. So please, in the comments below, everybody thank my dad, because this really means a lot to me, and his support means a lot to me, because this channel is my hobby. It's my love, and I really don't want to give it up. As I go and start my praxis, I will have to take a short leave of absence. Hopefully, it's only until April 24th, coronavirus pending. But, you know, I will not be gone forever, so please don't unsubscribe or anything like that. Stick around. I'm just trying to get my life together, and the great thing about it is I have positive people pushing me forward, especially my co-workers and stuff like that. So to all of you that helped me, especially John with the music for my channel, thank you very much, everybody. It means so much to me. And I just want to say, without all of you, I wouldn't have made it to 100 videos. So again, I keep saying it, but I'm going to say it one last time before I kick this review off. Thank you so much. So today, I'm looking at the Star Wars Armada Nadiri Starhawk expansion pack released in 2020. This vessel made its first appearance in the Aftermath Life Debt novel released in 2016. For some fun facts about this particular ship, it was used in the New Republic Defense Force, and it was made using parts from old Imperial vessels that were disassembled after the Battle of Endor. These ships, even though they were built from other vessels, were not weak. They were super powerful ships able to take on a Star Destroyer. Now, not a Super Star Destroyer, but a regular ISD, and that is impressive. You know, to take on a Star Destroyer and win, that is something to be proud of. Moving on from there, it also had very super strong tractor beam emitters located in the front of the ship, which we're going to take a look at later. And they were so strong, they were able to drag Star Destroyers into the atmosphere at the Battle of Jakku. And that is insane. Moving on from there, there were only 3 of these vessels present at the Battle of Jakku. The Amity, the Concorde, and the Unity. Now, out of all those 3 ships, 2 were destroyed, the Amity and Concorde. The Unity did survive. Now, one thing I gotta say is, I'm a Star Wars fan. I play the video games, I look at the books and this and that. And in those different types of mediums, such as comics and whatnot, we hear a lot of descriptions and hearsay about the Nadiri Starhawk, but never once did we see a physical representation of the vessel until now. Now, similar to the Star Wars X-Wing miniatures game Imperial Raider, I do believe that Fantasy Flight Games probably worked something out with Disney again, and now we have a canon piece right here. And this is canon. And now real quick, the size of this vessel, it comes in at about 10 inches long, which is amazing. So that's everything I have to say for the intro. Everybody should know what comes next. We're going to take a look at the dials, tokens, look at the cards, the beautiful mold, the excellent paint job, put it back on a stand, compare it to some other pieces, and then we'll be done. So let's get moving. And now it's time for my favorite part in these videos, the dial token roll call. First up, we have 4 command dials, 1 speed dial, a whopping 14 defense tokens, and finally, 1 large ship token, which is double-sided. So that does it for all the dials and tokens. Now let's take a look at the cards. And now, starting off with the cards, we're going to take a look at the 15 upgrade cards. Like in all my videos, I will read the name of the card. And if you'd like to pause the video and read the stats below, by all means, go right ahead and continue when you're done. First up, we have Krista Agate, another Krista Agate, Wedge Antilles, Shriv Sugav, Flight Controllers, 2 local fire control cards, Flag Bridge, 2 heavy fire zones, Intensify Firepower, Magnite Crystal Tractor Beam Array, Amity, Concord, and finally, Unity. So that does it for all the upgrade cards. So now let's take a look at the 2 ship cards. And now for those ship cards, the first one up is the Starhawk class Battleship Mark I. We have 14 hull, blue and black anti-squadron die, 4 command, 3 squadron, 4 engineering. And look at these arcs here. Very strong ship. We have our speeds over here, all the upgrades, and 140 points. Really neat. For the final ship card, we have the Starhawk class Battleship Mark II. Again, 14 hull, this time blue and red anti-squadron die. 4 command, 3 squadron, 4 engineering. Again, some nice firing arcs there. We have our speeds with our turns, upgrades, and this one is 150 points. So that does it for the ship cards. So now let's take a quick look at the rules that come with this set. And then we'll finally take a real nice look at this beautiful vessel. As a little change of pace, I decided to scan all the pages on the rulebook, so if anybody would like a copy, let me know and I'll email them to you. However, the first page for the Nadiri Starhawk is just a components list. We've seen this tons of times before. Dials, tokens, cards, all that stuff. For the second page, besides a beautiful piece of artwork, we have some new rules, such as large-size class ships and salvo defense tokens. On the next page, we have another beautiful piece of artwork with a battle-damaged Starhawk going right for a battle-damaged SSD, a magnificent piece of art. I really like it. For the content of the page, we have contained defense tokens, upgrade icons, and so on and so forth. And finally, for the last page, as always, we have our credits with the people who worked on this project, as well as copyright crap. So that does it for all the new rules. So now, let's check out this beautiful ship. Alright, the moment many of us have been waiting for me to look at the mold. Now, like in all my videos, I will go over all the major sections of the vehicle, and then we'll get a nice close-up to see those fine details. Now, sadly, at the time of filming this, there is no cross-section or diagrams or any info on this ship, so everything I'm going to go off of is what I know and what has been made canon that I am aware of. So down the line, if you guys discover anything, let me know in the comments below. Let's share some info here. So let's get started with the front of the vessel. Turning it this way, we have our main hangar bay, and these white painted pieces are the advanced tractor beams. And I think that's a cool looking design. You know, you trap something in the front and just drag it right in. So I think that's kind of awesome. Looking pretty good. Now for the sides here, this is real interesting to me anyway. We have 3 turbo lasers, which look ripped right from an Imperial Star Destroyer. And then 2 on the bottom. And that's the same on this side. 3 on the top. 2 on the bottom. And again, we're going to get a close-up of all this stuff in a while, so just brace yourself. And then right here we have 2 shield domes, which look just like the Imperial Star Destroyers. And those are located on this side as well. Very interesting. I like that very much. Now, moving down to the center section here, I really enjoy this. Now, I don't know where the hangar bays are or shuttle bays or anything like that. However, back here, we have a ton of different little recessed areas, especially this section. And when we get a closer look, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's actually a landing platform with a big door right there. That is sick. Of course, then we have our peg port for the stand. Another big recess right here. Some engines right there, looking sharp. Moving to the aft section, we have more engines here. Looking fantastic. And one cool thing I want to add is, these sections here look just like the aft of an Imperial Star Destroyer. You'll see when we get a close-up shot. But believe it or not, that's all these sections that I know for fact. Until we have a better detailed resource book or a web page, that's all I have to offer. So now, let's take a closer look at this beautiful ship. And now for that close-up look, I have to say for a moment for the record, this may be a very obtuse ship and very interesting, but because of its odd shape, it is a pain in the butt to film. This is probably my 4th time going through everything, trying to get all the crystal clear angles and everything, so I hope this comes out good this time. Having said all that, let's begin taking a close look at the bottom of the vessel. We can see some great paneling right there, and each of those panels are not only different sizes, but different heights, and I'm going to turn the ship in a minute so you can see what I'm talking about. But before I do that, we have a seam line going through the center. We don't really see that much with Armada ships, but it is hidden pretty well, so I'll let it pass. Then in the front, we have 2 protruding pieces right there, so let me turn it. And you can see how all the panels are different heights. And to me, that's awesome. And that's a little sneak peek of the whole vessel. Because if I turn it to the side, we're going to go up. Just look at that. We have flat pieces, about medium raised, and really raised. And that is very interesting. I guess it goes with the whole motif of a Frankenstein ship being built from different pieces of old Imperial vessels that the Republic captured. Or rebellion, whatever you want to call it. But anywho, let's get some close-up shots, shall we? Now this is the side of the Tomahawk, if we want to put it that way, the part that hangs. And just look at all the details there. Just fantastic. I love the paneling, all little raised sections. Amazing stuff. And then we have our main body, which I love the angles here. I think they're very nicely done. Just very beautiful. So coming up, we have these sections here, which look at all that. That to me is beautiful. All the little modules, stuff very close together. That's what I'm talking about. Moving down this way, the same. These 2 little modules right there above my thumb look like laser cannons. You can see the 2 barrels, and then it's like hanging down a little bit. Pretty interesting, but my god, that's such a great mold. We're not even a quarter of the way done with it yet, though. Here we have some nice modules and paneling. And then our back section looking pretty good. You can see the mold continues all the way up here. Look at all that. That is insane. Or as I say on Oak Island, holy shimoly. Okay, moving down to the panel here. Again, very nicely done. Nothing is flat. You have panels hanging down, some modules. Fantastic. And then up in the front, we have 2 turbo lasers. Ripped right from an Imperial Star Destroyer. We can see the 4 barrels on each one. Awesome stuff. Little lip right here. And then we have our center section, which is one of my favorite parts. We have a module here, some nice paneling. And then here's the meat and gravy right here. Or meat and potatoes, if you will. We have tons, I mean tons of little modules here. Hoses. And, you know, they're all recessed in and it looks amazing. And that goes all the way to the back, as we saw before. Simply amazing. Let me get a good shot of this for you guys. And here's as close as I can get for those details. Just an amazing amount of work here. Well done. And then we have our aft section. Looking cool. And moving on to the top, we have more paneling. Looking good. More turbo lasers. Raised section right here. Coming to the aft. Looking good. We have this step section with 2 shield domes taken right from a Star Destroyer. And what I like about these domes is, if you look at these spheres, they are angled just like they are in the film. And that is amazing. Nicely done. And in back of them, we have some more detailing. Just look at all that. Magnificent. We even have some detailing right here in this nook and cranny. Everything's covered. Coming up to the top of the vessel. Look at that. Very nice. Blackwash just fills all these nooks and crannies. and really brings it to life. Now this trench of detail goes all the way from the top here to this little trench here, and you can see some nice detailing in there. So hard to make out, but it is there, and then it opens up here, and we can see this beautiful amount of detail going right back down to the bottom. Fantastic. Now turning the ship around, we'll take a quick look at the other side. They are not 100% identical. There are little differences here and there, but for the most part, the same shape applies, and it looks amazing. Maybe not everybody's cup of tea, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? Just a very nice looking vessel. Again, we can see all the mold in here. Beautifully done. Excellent. I think that came out great. Turning it on the side here, you can see the paneling goes all the way to the center section. But very nice, very unique shapes here. And again, we have our turbo lasers looking great. And then we go up here. We have our nice module coming down this way. Besides the paneling, just look at all that detail. Awesome stuff, and I'll get a good shot of that for all of you at home in just a few. And then it goes back here, looking good. Look at all that. Nice. And then a nice close-up for the other side of the vessel, and you can see all the little doodads. Just an amazing piece. I think this came out great. And then for the back of that section, looking very sharp. Excellent. Our top is nicely detailed again. This little piece next to the main and the center. And good. For our top panel, looking great. Turbo lasers are all there. The paneling looks great. The front of the vessel looking good. That raised section. And what I like about this raised section, it's the same for the other side. You can see all these little raised sections. There's about 5 or 6 of them here. So if I hold it like that, it just looks like little nibs. But when I turn it, they're like little towers or little domes. And that's awesome. And of course, we have those awesome shield domes as well, followed by all that extreme paneling and detailing. Very nice stuff. I think this came out beautifully. Then we have the top of the vessel, which looks cool in my opinion. Some nice shapes and panels. Recesses. Now, when I was going over the paint, I thought this was black paint, but if you look, it's actually black wash. So that's pretty interesting. Then we come up to the top. Awesome. And now looking at the front of the ship, I put my light on the camera on so that way I could get in these nooks and crannies that we'll see up above. We'll see how that works out. But now for the side, we have some beautiful paneling, looking very cool. The center is recessed, which is a unique feature. As we go up, we can see these 2 modules. Looking very nice. I love the detail in there. And then we come up to the main body, the armored section here. And look at that. We have some nice amount of detail here. The paneling is different on each side. We also have some recesses. Looking very cool. Now for the interior, it is molded in there, especially on the sides. It's a little hard to make out. The molding goes all the way up. And we'll see the top in a few. But in there we have some nice molding with 2 cylinders painted white. Sort of like a deflector dish on the Enterprise, so that's pretty interesting. But coming up to this part, which is one of my favorite parts on a ship. This is the main landing bay, and around here is not only beautiful detailing in windows, but our 6 tractor beam emitters. And I think that looks amazing. Very nicely done. And very detailed. What I like about this also is that the blast door in the center is shut, and it looks cool. That's basically what it boils down to. It just looks awesome in my opinion. Coming up, we have this beautiful detailed section. Again, the sides are nicely done, if you can make it out. And then we have a little window there. And then all this beautiful molding. Just fantastic stuff. I think this looks great. And I know I keep repeating myself with why I like it so much, but it's awesome. And now when we get to the top here, we have 4 what I like to call submarine towers. And there's 2 and 2. They're each molded identical, just painted a little different. And they look pretty cool. We have some great detailing on them. Pretty awesome. I think those came out great. And now for the top here, if I could turn this like this for you all. There we go. You could see all the little details in there, and that is sick. And keep in mind, the tops here are molded differently as well, the panel lines. And the sides are molded as well for the inside of that trench. That's the same for this side as well. Just amazing. A beautiful job. And then, before we get to the center section, look at that. That is some nice detail, and I love that. Reminds me of a spine configuration. Really cool. And we also have detail right in the back there, which is very interesting. Now moving on to the center section, we have some excellent amount of details here. And you can see the panel lines, the modules. Oh my god, it's really cool. I love all the raised sections. And I'll just go slow so everybody can enjoy it. And then we have this piece here, which is actually the aft, but damn, that looks good. Lots of nice detail in here. But the one part I do like about this center piece is that all these little nibs you see on the spine here are actually raised up. Nothing is flat, and as I turn it, you'll see what I'm talking about. Just amazing. Look at that. Little towers all over. Fantastic. Coming down to the side, look at that. Wow. Such a beautiful looking amount of detail. And it continues all the way over here. Excellent stuff. And then we have the front again. And then for this side, we have some paneling that's shaped like that, and it looks pretty cool. I think that came out great. The detail and paneling is there with some raised sections. Pretty cool. Then we have some recesses right here, which looks amazing. Nicely done. And then the bottom, we have a seam line, sadly, right here. Hidden pretty well, I must say. We have a nice module there. Some raised paneling again. And then we come to the piece right before we get to the engines in this section, which I want to take a nice look at in a few. But very nice, very detailed peg port for the stand. Exquisite. We have a little landing bay there. Pretty cool. And some nice detail in the aft. And check out this piece here. As you can see, it's nicely detailed. Some negative space there. That's pretty awesome. Turning it upside down, you can see the beautiful detailing. Pretty cool. And of course, there's the engines. We're going to get to all that in a few. Lots of nooks and crannies in this bad boy. But turning the ship around real quick. Again, beautiful details on the side. Peg port for the stand. Looking good underneath. Again, nicely detailed. Love that design there. Really cool. We have this little bridge section I mentioned before with the negative space. Loving that. Again, more recesses. Oh, pretty good stuff. I like the ship quite a bit. It may not be everybody's cup of tea, but I think it's pretty dope. It's just hard to film. That's the only problem with it. And then we have this side with all this beautiful detailing. Amazing amounts. And I love this section. You know what this piece reminds me of? Like this whole side here with all these hoses and pipes. The interior of the Nostromo in Alien. Very Geiger-esque, if that makes any sense. If you're a fan of Alien, you'll know what I'm talking about. But magnificent stuff. And then, of course, we have the top again. which in my opinion looks pretty good. What do you guys think so far? Let me know in the comments below. And one last thing before we get to the bottom. We do have detailing back here as well. Very nice. So moving on from the top of the ship, I really want to take a look at this section, which is filled with little doodads and modules, and half of this stuff I have no clue what it is. But of course we have our engines, which look amazing, nicely done, and they're different types. Each one is different. These two are the same on the bottom, but each of these is different, and I think it looks really cool. Pretty dope, right? And then inside of that, we do have a lot of molding, which is amazing. And then here comes an awesome section. Tons of modules and what I think to be landing bays. Like just about here, here, and these two. They all seem to be the same configuration as this guy right here. And we're going to take a closer look at this section in a few. But again, look down here. Fantastic amounts of detail. And what really sells it to me is, besides the different engines, is this jagged edge on the side. Of course, everything is squared off. Like it's paneling, they just cut. But still, I think it looks amazing. Such a unique design element. Pretty cool. Now for this section here, this, in my opinion, is one of the coolest aspects of the model, because even though it's a little loose here, and I'm afraid to move it much, we have some detailing on the side, and then for the interior, you can see it's sort of like a door, or a cave entrance sort of thing. Oops, hit the camera there. But really interesting. And then we have the struts holding up this landing bay, as I'm going to call it, because look at that, it is detailed. We have tons of these little raised sections, some circles, mini line work. Just amazing. Let me get it from this side. Just nicely done. Very unique. And then, of course, underneath is nicely detailed as well. Just a great piece. And now moving on to the aft section. Oops. Just don't know how to hold this bad boy. Here we have the aft. Let me focus. There we go. Now, I already talked about this section a little while ago. Very nice, very different. We have pipes on the side. And then we have this section, which is nicely done with some raised sections, modules, pipes. Pretty nice. And then we have our aft, which is basically very flat, and then it slopes down. I'll turn it to the side so everybody can see. Pretty cool, right? I love the little raised sections. Very nice. Love the paneling. Now, this is a very interesting part here. You can see the paneling like normal, raised sections, raised paneling, looking good. But right here on the back is the aft of a Star Destroyer. It's the same little gun designs on there, ripped right from the other ship. And that's the same for the other side as well. Take a look at that. You can see all the paneling. Very nice. And then that back section. So that's pretty interesting. Looking at the sides, we have a lot of detail here. Look at all that. Again, amazing stuff. Then we have our interior looking very nice. That's the same for the other side. Oh, so hard to film with. But here we go. Again, very cool stuff. Not only do we have all these little doodads and modules, but there's actually paneling on here. They didn't even need to do that, but they did. Amazing. And then we have this side here. Excellent. Coming to the bottom. It's very basic. Just paneling. A couple raised and recessed areas. That's about it. Two little doodads there. Looking cool. A pipe section. And then more paneling. Then we have this centerpiece, which has some unique shapes on there. But as always, nothing is flat. Everything's raised up. And in my opinion, looks kind of cool. So now let's take a look at the engines, and then we'll be done. Now moving on to the engines, I love this. The different layers of engines. There's multiple types of engines in here. And as I turn it, you'll see, look at that. We have about 3 or 4 different types of engine here. My God, I'm really having trouble holding this damn thing. But regardless, we have the big ones, 3 of them. We have 3 little small ones, 2 of these and 2 of those. Each one is different, and each one is molded perfectly. Very nice. And they all have different bodies holding them to the main ship, as you can see here. Look at that. Fantastic. You know, I'm running out of words to say. You know, it just looks awesome. And a neat thing is, if you look inside, there is molding there. They put molding in with the engines, and it looks amazing. A beautiful job. And that's everything I had to say about the mold of this ship. It's very obtuse, it's odd, very hard to handle as well as film. But you know what? It's a great looking piece. Hands down, no BS. A beefy behemoth of a vessel with a lot of detail to boot. So now let's take a look at the paint. And now looking at that paint job in the Star Wars Armada Nadiri Starhawk, this baby features about 8 different colors. The first 2 are what we've been seeing on every Imperial ship thus far, light gray and dark gray, in a nice scattered pattern. And I really do enjoy it on this ship. You can see how nicely it is, and it's all over. We have it on the top, different sections here and there. On the centerpiece. Like, we could really look at this thing for hours. I'm just trying to do a brief overview of the paint. But let me turn it for you guys. But we can see how that paint is scattered. Very similar to the Imperial ships. Very nice. Moving on from there, we do have a lot of yellow. I like to call it like an Easter yellow. It's like a pastel. And it's on the center section, on the top, as well as the bottom on both sides. The front of the vessel, looking good. Part of the New Republic symbol. In the front of the vessel, as well as the bottom. And again, it is on the sides and the center, right here. And there. Very nice. Moving on from there, we do have some blue. And the blue is located on the aft section. The center on the top, looking very nice. And it goes well with the yellow right here in the front. There's no blue paint up here. But we do have some for the New Republic symbol, as well as this nice stripe going right here. Very nice. Moving on from there, we do have a light blue or electric blue for the engines. Let me turn this around. There we go. You can see how nicely they are painted. Very cool. And also in the front here, looking sharp. Now, besides those colors, we do have some extras. We have glossy black, located on these 2 parts, right here, and the underneath. We also have some white, which is located on these 2 cylinders right here, and all the tractor beam emitters, which is really cool. And of course, it wouldn't be an Armada ship without the last color, which is a beautiful black wash, which really gets in all these nooks and crannies and brings it to life. You can see how the black sticks to all these little modules in here. The centerpieces, the turbo lasers, fantastic. Really makes it look like a studio model, and I love it for that. And that basically does it for the paint. So now let's put this baby on a stand, compare it to some other vessels, and then we'll be done for today. And just like other Armada ships, you get a cool base that you assemble. If you've been watching my channel, you should know how to do this like a pro. Anyway, peg the port into the stand like so. And just like that, everybody, you are good to go. Now for some quick size comparisons with the Nadiri Starhawk seen in the center. On the right hand side we have another Rebellion ship, the Moncal Liberty type. And then on the left hand side we have the Home 1. And you can see, even though these are bigger vessels, how they're just dwarfed by this behemoth. Fascinating. So let's get some more ships here. For our next size comparison with the Starhawk seen in the center, on the right hand side we have the Imperial Victory class Star Destroyer. Many people on my channel own this bad boy, and you could see the real size difference here. Then on the left hand side we have the Rebellion ship, the Profundity. A very excellent ship. I love it very much, and you can see how even that is dwarfed by the Starhawk. And for our final size comparison of the day with the Starhawk seen on the right, on the left we have the Imperial Star Destroyer, the Chimera, and you can see how, again, the Starhawk is a much larger vessel than the ISD. I don't believe these are to scale. They might be. The shield domes are almost the same size. But regardless, what a massive model the Starhawk is. Very detailed, very interesting. I really like it. It's not what I was expecting at all, but I am very impressed. And if any of you are interested in seeing reviews of any of the vessels you've seen today, check the links in the description below. And that does it today for my review of the Star Wars Armada Nadiri Starhawk expansion pack released in 2020. Now, to be honest, the first time I saw this ship, I didn't know how to feel about it. It didn't look anything like we've seen with the other Rebellion ships whatsoever, but I did like the front with its weird tomahawk shape. After having it in hand and looking very closely at it, I have to say, just like all of the other Fantasy Flight game ships, this one is yet again blowing me away. Not only does it have a very unique shape that's new to us, but the details in the mold here are fantastic. You have shield domes, turbo lasers, tons of canyons filled with millions of little modules molded in there. It's fantastic. I love the front of the ship, the engines, everything is very nice. Now, I understand some people may not like the mold in general for its shape, but I gotta give credit where credit's due. It has a lot going for it, and I like it for that. Looking at the paint, to me it's very impressive. Sure, we have the paint scheme for all Imperial ships that we're used to by now with the two different grays and black wash, but the nice addition of yellow and blue really make this for me. I would have liked a little more of that, but it's not bad whatsoever, and that black wash, oh man, it gets in every single panel line, nook and cranny, and really makes the detail pop. So that's everything I have to say about this outstanding looking ship today. I hope you enjoyed my video. If you did, hit that like button. And if you'd like to see new reviews every Thursday, subscribe. Again, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch my video. I really do appreciate it, and I hope to see you next time. Bye, everybody. And one more time before I go, just thank you so much for everybody supporting me throughout this whole YouTube adventure. 500 videos. And hopefully you'll all be with me when I reach my 1000th. Thank you again, everybody, and God bless you. Bye.